So thank you for coming along to this presentation, and the purpose of this is to show you how we use Google's Classroom in my classes. And I've been doing this for a few terms now with every level, from level 2 through to AEP classes. So students at every level can do this. And as you can see, I'm not sitting in the chair at the teacher's computer. So at the beginning of the class, we spend 30-40 minutes getting to know each other. While we're doing that, I just pick out a student who I think has a bit of an idea about using computers, and I just tell them to sit in that chair. So everything that my assistant is doing, you can see on the screen here. And today the assistant isn't Somchai, today the assistant is Michael. So just on your computer, copy what you see on the screen here. So first, start off on, the computers are all on Google Chrome, which is the best one to use at AUA. And you want to be on the Gmail sign-in page. So this is the page you want. If there are half a dozen account names here, ignore them. So on this page, you want to sign in. Do not enter your email. You don't know your email. So we want your first name plus your last initial, just the first letter of your last name. And then full stop, then student at auathailand.org. Then click next. And when you click next, if you've entered the correct email, it's here. Now you need your password. After you enter the password, the system asks you to accept. Just click I accept. The second thing it does is ask you to make a new password. Your password now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and click sign in. Good. And this is your welcome. So just scroll up past that and then click I accept. Good. So we're all on the right page. Then this is the page to make your new password. Whatever you like. It has to be 8 characters or more. And I do not know your new password. If you forget it, I can't tell you. It needs to be 8 characters or more. Okay, and then change password. So then it loads your new Gmail account. And there are a few welcoming messages from Google, which we can forget. If you already use Gmail or Google, AUA Thailand is a Google account. So if you're used to using Gmail, it's the same. If you use Google Apps, it's the same. Okay, so we've all signed in now, so this is what it looks like. The first thing we want to do is click on the 9 little squares at the top. That brings you the Google Apps. And the first app we want is Google Plus. So click on the Google Plus icon there. Good. Then where it has your name, here write your nickname. Where it has your last name, write your... for my students, I tell them to write their nickname and their first name. For you, I suggest you write your nickname and your AUA branch. So write Michael, so you can leave that, Jamjari, Jamjari. And you have to tell Google your sex and your date of birth. You don't have to tell the truth. You can write whatever you like there, as long as you're 18 years or older. And no one can see this except you. And then after you've entered that, click Upgrade. and then click continue, and continue, and continue, and close those annoying little help boxes. Continue. Continue anyway. You don't need friends. Good. So this is your Google Plus profile. Don't do it now, but I suggest when you get home, you sign into your account and put your photo here. You'll see why in a minute, but don't worry about doing that now. Okay, so we're finished with Google Plus. So finish, good. And then that's saved your profile. To get back to your profile, you can click Profile here. So that's what you look like for your AUA Thailand account. So it's the name you entered, the last name you entered, at auathailand.org. So for my students, it's normally nickname, first name. If you're a teacher setting up this account, I suggest your first name or whatever you want your students to call you and the branch. Okay, so we're finished there now, so close that tab. And so Gmail has just sent you another little message about using Google+. Don't worry about that now. Next, go back to the Google Apps icon. And this time, click More. And when you click More, you get Classroom. Click Classroom. And in Classroom, you are a student. So I am a student. You are not a teacher. I'm a teacher. You are a student. Good. Well, now you want to follow the arrow up and click the plus sign to join your first class. And click Join. Close all these annoying little announcements. The first time you use it, Google keeps helping you. And usually in a class of 10 to 15 students, someone will forget their password or there'll be some other little problem, and that's okay. You just run out to the office staff very quickly and ask them to reset it. This is the main page for Classroom, and there's nothing there. If you click Classmates, well, these are your classmates who just joined us. So Boom is here, Michael's here, and this is my student account. Okay. And this is why I suggest you add your photo to your Google Plus account. It means when we look, well, we can see who you are. Okay. Then go back to Stream, and we'll start using Classroom. Right, so you just got a message saying there's a new announcement, there's a new assignment. So click Show, and this is our first Classroom assignment. This assignment uses Google Documents, but for students, it's all automatic and seamless. Students don't have to worry about Google Documents. All the students need to do is click here. So introducing RPDA, Peter's class, and that opens a Google document. And after your number, write your nickname, and then write one short sentence telling us something about you. And something about you means we expect I or my or me. And everyone can do this. Level 1 students have no trouble doing this. Level 13 students on Sunday last week had no trouble doing this. So just one short sentence. And students often have quite a bit of fun doing this. It's quite fun watching everyone else's sentences appear and watching people change their mind and think, oh, his sentence is better than mine. I want to write something more exciting. Sometimes naughty students write in the wrong place. I let them go for a couple of minutes, just writing whatever they like. And I also add one for my own sentence. So next, step 3, your classmate's going to write a comment. And the way to write a comment is, just wait a minute. So just watch what happens on Michael's computer. So we'll show you how to do this. Students do need to be shown very clearly how to add a comment. And this is important because a lot of the activities we do, students are commenting on each other's work. So he's going to write a comment. So he's going to read Boom's sentence. I love AUE. Okay. And the way Michael writes a comment is, so just watch the screen, select the word AUE. Right. Then, in the selected text, right-click the mouse. And where it says comment, click comment. Then over on the side, that opens the box to write the comment. So write your comment here. When you write your comment, you must ask a question about what your classmate said. And then click comment. That puts your comment online for your classmate to see. Students can see that I'm looking at them online. So if there is anyone who didn't ask a question, I can say, well, add a bit more. Michael, can you click here? Right. So when you click here, that highlights the comment. So if Boom clicks here, it will highlight the comment. Where it says reply, write more. So just where it says reply, write more. So you can ask a question in a new comment. So click here. But then just write your question here and then click reply. Go to your comment and answer your classmate's question. And after you answer your classmate's question, you can ask other classmates questions and you can reply to other comments. Okay. And I usually let my students go on with this for maybe 10, 15 minutes sometimes, depending on how we're going, because it's quite fun. Students at every level actually think this is fun. And we're getting to know each other. We're using English to communicate quite effectively. We're not worried about spelling mistakes. Everyone can see spelling mistakes. Everyone can see grammar mistakes. And it's not a problem. And students generally quickly stop worrying about that. I tell them, well, don't worry, as long as we understand, we're happy. And I let them carry on for 10 minutes or so usually. So close that tab. Okay, boom, close that tab. And that's introducing students to one way we can use Google Documents with Classroom. And the students don't have to know anything about Google Documents to do that. The next exercise I usually do on the first day of class is a little bit different. So I've just sent you the next thing I do with my students. So again, click show, you've got a new assignment. This time, you have your own file. So when you click on the assignment here, so click the assignment. So, okay, so this time, close that annoying box. This time, the file has your name on it. So tell us about you, Michael at Jumchery, and it gets this from your Google Plus account. Saying boom at Jumchery. So click your file, and then click, wait a minute, close that annoying box, there. So again, it's really simple. The purpose is to just learn how to use the Google Documents in Classroom. And again, level 1 students have no problem doing this. So just write your name and tell us what you'd like us to call you. Then after you finish number 2, with your cursor here, click enter. And when you click enter, that makes number 3. Write one more sentence about you, anything you like about you. So put your cursor here and click enter. Okay, good, stop writing. And if you're not finished, that's okay. So close that tab. Close that tab. Good. Google saves everything as it's written. There's no need to save stuff, it's already saved. So just click your file again. Everything you just did is there. If you've done number 3, do number 4. If you're not finished, finish number 3. When you're finished, we'll close it this time. So close that tab. Okay. Now, where it says turn in, click turn in. Then click turn in again. And that sends your work to me. So I can check what you've just done. So all of my students have already sent their work. That's really good. And as you can see here, well, Michael's assignment is marked as done. Well, that means it's been sent to me. Well, I've checked it and it's now marked return. So I've sent it back and I've given Michael a grade. There should be a grade up the top. Here, good. So there's a grade here. So he got 96 out of 100. So he did pretty well. And he thinks, and I wrote a comment down the bottom as well. So, well done, Michael, only one mistake to correct. So he thinks I made a mistake, really. So he checks his file again, and he sees, well, if you've made a mistake, I mark it in green. Okay, so Michael's made the corrections. He has an option now, before we closed the page and then turned in, but if you look up the top, you can click turn in directly. Okay, and turn in again. And that tells me again that Michael's done, looked at his work again. So Michael's now, I've returned his work and it was perfect this time. So I've changed the grade as well. So the grade is now 100%. And for this assignment, I usually do check everyone's work after class. So the students have all done something. Well, I do look at it, and I do comment on everyone's work. And it takes about less than a minute for each student. I think about 30, 40 seconds. Just to quickly, I mean, they've only written one sentence really, so there isn't a lot to check. And the next assignment is a little bit more substantial. So the things we've just done are the 2 things I do in our first session here. The next thing is something that I would set as actual homework. And this is a piece of homework for a level 2 class. And it's just checking, it's some things out of the Headway Starter workbook. So Michael, click the white arrow there. Right, and that takes you back to the front page. And the new assignment is already at the top. Right, so if you click that, right, and again, it's an individual copy for every student. So click your copy, and so when the students look here in their workbook, they see it's exactly the same as pages 29 and 31 in the workbook. I've just turned it into something we can do online. So in class, I just demonstrate actually on my tablet, and we'll come to tablets, smart devices in a minute. Okay, so I make sure students know how to do this, and then that's homework, and I'll check it in a day or 2. You can close that page now. Then after we've done this, if you're a real student, you do turn it in, and I do check it. And if you're finding this a bit confusing, don't worry, it is confusing the first time. It's confusing for students who are computer literate, and it was confusing for me the first time I learned this. And as you are quite likely to discover, I still sometimes make mistakes. So click the white arrow again. And there's a new announcement. This time I've published my answers for students to check. So they've got a record of what I answered as well. And, well, I added a note so that students could see which one we talked about in class, which one a lot of us had a problem with. And Classroom makes it really easy to see what everyone's done. And in our classes, we often tell students to brainstorm. Well, let's just do some quick brainstorming. So close that page. Michael, close that. Thank you. And again, so the page was updated. Show. This time, this is a good way. If you've got a question, you just want to get everyone's ideas quickly. Classroom lets you ask a question. So the question is, what's the best way to brainstorm? Well, is it better in a group or individually? Better online or on paper? What do you think? Why do you think this? Type your answer here. Okay, submit. And after you click submit, good, submit. Where you've got the little face, see classmates' answers, click see classmates' answers. Right, so then after you've given us your idea, you can see what everyone else's ideas were and you can reply if you like. This was actually interesting. When I did this in the PDA groups, a lot of people thought groups were better than individually, even to start with. And a lot of people were sure paper was better than online. So for the unbelievers, can you click the white arrow again? And it was actually quite good. Some people did challenge me when I said individually is better at first. But I had my answer ready, and there's my support. So at your leisure, you can read up about the most effective ways to use brainstorming, including in your classroom. And Classroom makes it really easy for people to brainstorm individually, not under the domination of a strong person in a group. So I often use Classroom to get ideas before we start a discussion or something. And Classroom's questions is one way to do that. Another way to do that is, I'm just sending you a couple of questions that I used. These were in my level 2 class last term. In Headway Starter, I think the start of unit 6 or 7, starts off with people just thinking about favourite drinks, music, bands and things. Well, I did this as just a quick series of classroom questions, and so everyone just answered this really quickly. People had different ideas, they saw what their classmates thought. When we then got up and started mingling and sharing, well, they had a lot more ideas to think about. But that's what I did in level 2, and again, it takes a few minutes. It gets everyone thinking about the vocabulary, thinking about their answer, before they stand up and start talking. And if you've been around for a while, you've probably taught level 10, and in Headway 2, there's a thing called Brat Camp, a reading exercise, and that can seem a bit weird because it's all about American teenagers and in an American situation. What I found doing it was, if we kind of combine the first 2 starter activities into an anonymous survey, people get the vocabulary, they get the ideas, and they also start relating it to their own country, Thailand. They haven't looked at the book yet, so there's nothing about the United States. It's just fill in this survey. So what's your personal opinion? Don't talk to your classmates. This is not a group activity. So this time, click the link and fill in the survey. And you just have to choose, right, so for each teenage behavior, do you think it's not always bad, bad, or very bad? Good. And when you're finished, click submit. Then after you click submit, you can see what your classmates think. You can't see the name. So, okay, so this group, we've got a fair bit of agreement. We all think telling lies is sometimes okay. When I did this in a class of about 12, 14 people, the pie charts were all, there was considerable disagreement. So the students had got the vocabulary, they were relating it to their own ideas and experience in Thailand, and what they saw was that actually quite a lot of this group do not have the polite, proper opinions. And I think, I was actually surprised at how many people seem to think stealing might be okay sometimes, and telling lies and all of those other things. And I think the students were also surprised. And that created a really good background for us to then go into group discussions about, well, what do you think? Why do you think that? Because they knew they had, and they could see this on the TV coming up. So they had it in front of them on their device. It was also on the TV from my device. So they had this as a record of what the class as a group thought. And that provided a really good, it clarified the language really well. It helped them start relating what was coming in the reading to their own experience. And that activity, which I thought might have been a bit problematic for Thai students, actually went really well. They were really interested in, well, okay, we've got all these people doing these bad things, and maybe they don't think they're bad, so what can we do? Well, that's what the reading talks about. And I think the students in my class, when we did it this way, seemed to at least appreciate the ideas in the reading. And it's not a particularly happy, cheerful reading, it is a serious reading, but they were interested in it. And I'm pretty sure that doing it this way first helped a lot. So often, if there's an activity in the book that asks students to do a survey or something, well, I turn it into a form, and that's a Google form, and then put the form on Classroom, and again, okay, get out your tablet and do it, and it takes a few minutes. We're kind of pressed for time, so I'll just quickly show you a few other things that I've done with my classes, where Classroom was a great way to bring everything together in one place for the students. So back on the stream homepage, well, this is in level 9. There are a couple of end of unit using the language activities that ask students to write a script and talk. Well, I combined the two activities from two different chapters and got them to actually record themselves on their smartphones and upload it to me, to my AUA account. And then I put the link, the YouTube link, on Classroom. So each group could see what they'd done, and their classmates could see what they'd done. And they produced some really great videos. This was the first time I'd done this, so if you click there, you'll go to YouTube, and we had a few little hitches with Wi-Fi and stuff like that. And well, we had a few little hitches with sound quality and stuff, but that's okay. The students worked really hard. They produced some really good videos. And as I was watching them do this in the class, I mean, they were really involved. They were sort of stop, we'll just go back and re-record that, and wait, okay, let's do the whole thing again. And okay, let's listen before we send it to Peter. On to the next one. So close that page. And for the Classroom and Google Docs are obviously really good for the extended writing exercises. So if you go back to the stream homepage, or actually click show group 2 new activities from different classes. So there's a writing from level 9. Let's look at the writing from level 6. On this one, the students have done a writing activity from the book. Then they've commented, the way we commented before, on each other's work. For you to see the comments, you have to have comment permission. So click Letter to Pen Pals. And so over on the side, you can see the comments that I wrote and the comments that students wrote on each other's work. So often I get my students to review their classmates' work. And again, it's often, well, what would you like to say? What do you like? Would you like more information? So that when they're writing, they know the audience is their classmates. Other people will read their work, and they'll be expected to read their classmates' work and think about the ideas, never the grammar. And occasionally people talk about the grammar. Well, I kind of remind them, okay, that's my job. Your job is to think about, did you understand it? Do you want to know more? What's really interesting? And again, so there's a simple writing exercise. It's actually a level 1 writing exercise, but I did it in level 2. And again, these are the finished, corrected drafts where they fixed their mistakes and things. And so we publish it here so that they can see what their classmates wrote. And again, we can use this in class often. I get them to the, okay, so tell someone else who you wrote about. And so they've got the ideas ready to go. They can have a conversation about it. Again, practicing asking the questions that this was based on. And Classroom brings it all together into one place. So all their work, everything they've done for the term is here in Classroom. Their writing, their homework, any YouTube videos they've done, quick surveys we did in class, questions we talked about in class, announcements about registration and so on. Also, so that there are no unpleasant surprises, on the first day I also encourage students to forward email from AUA Thailand to another account, and I just give them the links to Google's help pages. So that's the Google help page to do it in English, Thai, Japanese, and there are plenty of other languages if students want it. Click show again, Michael. So there are no nasty surprises about attendance. I keep an online record of attendance. So there's a little note about AUA's regulations, and click the link in the Google document, and that opens my record of attendances. And students can check this at any time. I just update it at the end of class. I don't do it here. This is the display page for a Google sheet. And the page I fill in has their name and everything else. It's very easy. So it takes me about 1 minute to update this at the end of each class. So students know all the time what I think, how many days I think they've been absent. Finally, well, most of it, I bring my students here normally once only for regular classes. We come on the first day of class. And then after we go through the basic things that we did at the beginning of this session, I tell them, I also give students this Classroom on a smart device. And on the first day of class, I ask them to put AUA Thailand on your smart device. And so I make sure, it needs to be clear, you have to add the AUA Thailand account to your device before you can add the Google Classroom account. Okay, so these are all, you need these 3 apps, but add the AUA Thailand account first. So on your device, go to Settings, And this is Android, but I believe Apple iOS is very similar. So you go to Accounts, and in Accounts, you want to add a Google account. Okay. And you can have multiple Google accounts, it's not a problem. So if you look at mine, well, I've got a personal Gmail account, my main AUA Thailand account. The account I gave you with student, I suggest you use that. When you create a class, make your student account a member of that class so you can see what students are getting. So I've got 2 AUA Thailand accounts in my accounts and another personal Gmail, Google account. So you just click Add Account, and it's a Google account. And by this point, most students have their phone out following along, doing it. Then don't create a new account. Enter your email, your first name dot for here student, for your student's first name dot last name at auathailand.org. Then next, enter your password. After you've added the account, then download the apps for Google Drive, Google Docs, and Google Classroom. Then the one we want to use in class is that one. That's the only one you need to use. But you need the 3 apps because Classroom uses those 3 apps. If you're a teacher, you need to use a little bit more. But for students, that's all the students need to use. I've not had a problem with a single student for at least 6 months coming and saying I can't do it. Every single student has been able to do it. I know some branches don't have computers, so we're working on sort of automating the first part of this session, perhaps. And finally, so you have a record of everything we've rushed through today. This is our last announcement for today. So Michael, you can close that one now. Right. And show the last one. So these are my notes on the workshop that we've just rushed through. It was extremely rushed, and as I said, well, the purpose is not to teach you how to do this. That would be ridiculous.
Part 2.
Yeah, part 2 coming soon when I need more PDA credits or more money or something, and when you need more PDA credits or something. So the purpose was just to show you that Classroom, and there are lots of other ways I'm sure you could use Classroom. I keep thinking of new ways, and Google keeps adding new features and making it stronger. The little questions we did, how do you brainstorm, what's your favorite song, that's only been available in the last 3 months or so. So Google is continually improving this, but it's a great way to bring the class together. Everything that the students have done, and I think it also helps, it creates a good atmosphere. Students can see what each other are doing. They can see their own work. They know that we're sharing our work with each other. Okay, so we're about 15 minutes overdue and the pizza will be getting cold, so does anyone have a question? Okay, you're a really good group. We have very few hiccups, and we'll thank Michael for being a great assistant, and Jung was an excellent student. You followed along really well, and thank you, my son.